Major themes in the Book of Haggai. The Book of Haggai presents a powerful message about obedience, priorities, and the assurance of God's presence. Written after the return from Babylonian exile, the prophet addresses the people of Judah who had begun to rebuild their own homes while neglecting the reconstruction of God's temple. Through his messages, Haggai emphasizes that the prosperity and blessing of the community are closely linked to the faithful pursuit of God's purposes, and that God's presence accompanies those who act in obedience to his call. A central theme of Haggai is the call to rebuild the temple. The prophet challenges the people for prioritizing their own comfort over God's house. Is it time for you yourselves to dwell in your paneled houses, and this temple to lie in ruins? Haggai 1 verse 4. By addressing their misplaced focus, Haggai teaches that faithfulness requires active participation in God's work, and that obedience is measured not only by inward devotion but by visible action that honors him. Closely related to this is the theme of God's presence and blessing. Haggai assures the people that God will be with them if they faithfully undertake the rebuilding of the temple. "I am with you," declares the Lord, Haggai 1 verse 13. This promise encourages diligence and instills hope, showing that the presence of God brings strength, protection, and guidance to those who follow his commands. Another important theme is the priority of spiritual over material concerns. Haggai rebukes the people for focusing on their own homes and personal gain while neglecting God's house, saying, "Consider your ways, you have sown much, and bring in little, eat, but do not have enough." Haggai 1 verses 5 to 6. This theme underscores the principle that true blessing flows from obedience and devotion to God, while self-centered pursuits often result in frustration and lack. Haggai also emphasizes encouragement amid discouragement. Many who worked on the temple were disheartened by its modest appearance compared to Solomon's former temple. The prophet exhorts them to remain strong and fearless. "Be strong, for I am with you," declares the Lord of hosts, Haggai 2 verse 4. God promises that the glory of the rebuilt temple will surpass that of the former, offering hope and reinforcing perseverance in the work he calls his people to do. The book highlights God's sovereignty and authority over all creation and history. Haggai reminds the people that God's plans cannot be thwarted by human opposition, for thus says the Lord of hosts, "Once more, in a little while, I will shake heaven and earth, the sea and dry land." Haggai 2 verse 6. This assurance demonstrates that God directs events in history to accomplish his purposes and that human effort must align with divine will for true success. Finally, Haggai presents the promise of future glory and blessing. The prophet assures the people that their obedience will result not only in the physical completion of the temple but also in spiritual fulfillment. "The glory of this latter temple shall be greater than the former." Haggai 2 verse 9. This promise foreshadows God's ultimate redemptive plan and encourages hope, illustrating that God rewards faithful service and fulfills his promises. In conclusion, the book of Haggai calls believers to obedience, proper priorities, and perseverance in the work God assigns. It emphasizes that God's presence and blessing accompany those who faithfully honor him, that spiritual devotion takes precedence over material pursuits, and that his sovereign plan ensures ultimate fulfillment and glory. By balancing challenge, encouragement, and promise, Haggai motivates God's people to place his purposes first, assuring them that faithful service brings both immediate blessing and participation in his redemptive plan.